It was really fear-driven.
You're having classical symptoms of very high blood sugar.
You start doing it now and you keep your foot, or you eat one more French fry and you lose your foot. I just knew I wasn't myself.
You have to integrate everything. So your mindset, your perspective, your motivation, your inspiration, the lifestyle interventions, and the right medical expertise.
I'm going to lose my foot. What good am I in construction if I don't have that? I'm not young anymore. I'm not 20. It's not like I'm going to bounce back from this real quickly. And that's when I came to see you.
I'm very, very delighted to introduce Brandon. He's been one of our great inspirations for our patients, for our community, and today he's bringing your experience to you all. I am very, very delighted to talk to you, to interview today, and to have a lovely conversation with you, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Hope I can help.
So let's dive in. I've known you since early part of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can just share, just what symptoms, what was the condition that you were experiencing that led to our first meeting?
Well, I was diagnosed with diabetes in early 2009. Felt like I was losing the battle and that everything that I was doing wasn't working till then. And I always thought I needed to see a doctor, but it wasn't until I guess you would call them a diabetes advocate at the hospital.
At the hospital.
Mm-hmm. That was when I was being discharged. She put in my ear, "Hey, maybe you don't need a doctor per se. Maybe you need a specialist." And that's the first time I heard of an endocrinologist. I was probably as low as I can go with my diabetes because I was fearing I was going to lose my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I was in I was close to 260 pounds. Sometimes I think I ran into you in March. So I think that winter I was probably 280. You know what I mean? It being the holidays and Thanksgiving, I was much bigger.
Tell us what your height is, because that makes a lot of difference too.
Well, I'm 6'5", so I am tall. I am tall, but I had a lot of belly fat, and I was eating. I just wasn't eating right, and I was using the excuse that I was working out of town because I wasn't eating right. But anyways, I ended up with the foot infection, and I thought to myself, one of these days I'm going to lose that battle, and they're going to take my foot if I keep carrying on the way I was. I just knew I wasn't myself. I knew I could feel better. And I don't drink, I don't smoke. So it wasn't like, well, if I quit drinking or if I smoke less, it boiled down to I knew I had to eat better and start exercising. It was really fear-driven. I'm going to lose my foot. What good am I in construction if I don't have that? I'm not young anymore. I'm not 20. It's not like I'm going to bounce back from this real quickly. And that's when I came to see you.
One thing I'll just clarify that it was type 2 diabetes, right? Just for the differentiation purposes. And also share, those since 2009, how was it being managed? Because I remember you were talking about being on and off on insulin, going to urgent care for prescriptions. So
Yes.
there was a difficulty to access physicians.
The cost of health insurance at the time. I had a good job. They just didn't offer health insurance. I felt like, well, I'm still young and I didn't need insurance. And I'm talking 2004, 5, 6, and then right around 2005, that's when I became a foreman. And I didn't have to wear my tool belt as much. I didn't have to work as hard, a lot less physical, a lot more in the office. And that's when the weight started to come on. And I think I went from 230 pounds, 230 pounds moving a lot, to 260 pounds sedentary. And at one point in time, I ballooned up to 300. When they diagnosed me, I went into the hospital and they just gave me insulin. And when they discharged me, they just said, well, we're discharging you. And right now we're giving you 5 units in the morning, 5 units in the afternoon, and, another 10 at night. And I just stuck with that. And I was never really monitoring it because I didn't really prick my finger enough. That went off and on until 2017 when I got my first real bad foot infection, urinating a lot. I'm constantly thirsty. When I checked my blood sugar, I was 400, 500 range. And
Exactly.
I
You're having classical symptoms of very high blood sugar.
naive because I was a man and I was young, sort of thinking that I can beat this. I'll just start eating a salad, and it just wasn't that easy. Very bad stuff to do. Not
Mm-hmm.
seeking professional advice. And it wasn't until I got another foot infection in 2019 and then another one in
Mm-hmm.
2023 where it looked real bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you came into play.
With all this in picture, did your podiatrist tell you that there is a chance for amputation at that time in 2023 with the third foot
Yes,
infection?
the first time he told me that you're a diabetic, you shouldn't mess around with this at all. The second your foot feels funny, you shouldn't even come to a doctor or podiatrist. You should go straight to the ER. It's not until you're really threatened with losing something and that you start to really question yourself and your decisions. And I feel like I got really lucky because I was at, oh, I guess you say a knife's edge.
Yeah.
Look, either you start doing it now and you keep your foot, or you eat one more French fry and you lose your foot.
The first 3 months, right? Because that was crucial for us. I remember when you came in, I was like, oh my gosh, we have a goal. We got to save the foot. And then you were getting the wound care at home. There was a nurse coming to you at home to debride it. So share how, how there was a good transformation, I feel, at least the first 6 weeks, 8 weeks when you were on multiple insulin injections to reducing them. Tell us about, your experience with the continuous glucose monitoring system, the sensors.
I look you up, I call you. Uh, at this time, then we set up a meeting. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I don't recommend this for people, but if you really want to get scared straight, type up diabetic foot ulcers, and that's what I was doing. And it really, whoa, I don't want to be one of these videos, and it really drove me to, keep eating right. And then we set up a meeting. I went to go see you, and you
Mm-hmm.
recommended I read a book, How to Reverse
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes. And I actually had the book at home already. And I'm ashamed to say that I think I had it for a year already, never even opened it up. But I did start reading it, and we started seeing each other every week for the first
Correct.
couple months. You were monitoring me a lot there. Body was having these cravings. I learned now because I was
Mm.
eating so much sugar. After a couple weeks of avoiding sugar, processed foods, include anything that had included sugars. I feel a little leaner. I was feeling a little bit better. The number one thing for me after a couple weeks, which was, wow, this is really paying off, was my sleep. I am no
Mm-hmm.
longer waking up after 2, 3 hours.
Now that changed actually helped you to almost get wean off insulin, right? You were on 4 injections when you came to
Yes,
me.
prior to each meal, and then I was doing another long-lasting one at bedtime. So
Mm-hmm.
fast acting prior to each meal 3 times a day, and then a long-lasting one at night.
And within a few weeks, you were just off most of it, except for like the long acting, a low dose. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That's because I literally went kind of cold turkey on the sugar. I was snacking on, not fruit snacks. Let's just say I was snacking on fruit. I was doing a
A
lot
lot
of
of vegetables.
vegetables, a lot of strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries.
Mm-hmm.
I started noticing I was losing weight. My skin got better. More importantly, I haven't had a staph infection since. So
Exactly. And I remember that you had your foot ulcer, and for the first 3 months, you were not allowed to bear weight. But
yes.
despite that, you lost, I think, 15, 20, 30 pounds average in those three
Uh,
months.
yes. Well, that was I read that book, and I did a lot of dieting, and I started doing a lot of drinking my vegetables.
Yeah, you really followed the low fat meals.
Yeah.
And that was magical, I feel, in your case with the improvement. Now, can you describe one or a couple of specific moments or milestones that marked like a significant improvement in your health? You felt like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This has just happened, or what
Um,
was it?
August last year, I had a full night's sleep where I don't think I tossed, I don't think I turned, and I'm talking, I think I went 8, 9 hours. just straight up slept. I don't think I woke up. And I remember that was a real big, and at the time I just started walking too. And I remember when I first started walking, which was around, I think, the end of May, I couldn't walk a half mile without being, oh my goodness, and just kind of somewhat winded. Now I lost some weight, but that was because I was eating a lot, just dieting, just doing a lot of fruits and vegetables. By this time, I was waking up in the morning, um, walking probably 3 miles, and it was easily done in like 50 minutes. I'm feeling a lot better. So the sleep and then hitting 100, I remember hitting 199 pounds on my daughter's birthday, and that was November 28th, and I was under 200 pounds all through December. I kind of like the gym thing, and so
But I'm
I've been,
glad you like it because we had done your body composition, and
yes,
I know we were having a conversation. Brendan, we need to get some muscle here.
yes.
And this time when you got it done, I was very impressed that you had a gain in your muscle mass.
Yeah, well,
Um,
yeah, and I was saying, remember, I walked a half mile and I was winded. Now 3 miles is not a
mhm,
problem. And 3 miles on an
mhm.
incline, and I was doing 3 miles at maybe 2.5 miles per hour. Now I'm doing 3 miles
Uh-huh.
at 3.5 miles.
You're off all insulin, and you haven't taken any weight loss medications. I just want to, shout out loud there
No.
that this is all, it's all, of course, we have the right diabetes medications here,
Yeah.
but it's also a lot of intensive lifestyle interventions, your motivation, as well
Yes.
as consistency.
I just have more energy. I definitely uh feel more energetic. I look better in my clothes, my new clothes, and I got my feet. I'm keeping my feet. You know,
Yes, exactly. We are we are not getting any
that was the
problems
whole
with
that was
that
the whole
anymore.
goal.
That's
Yeah.
healed completely. I also wanted to emphasize, that getting the right medical expertise, because Brendan just mentioned that, where he was huffing and puffing for just half a mile or 1 mile, and now you're doing amazingly well. It's important to see, getting the right screening. You had seen the cardiologist, you were seeing all the specialist in a timely manner. We were getting the right blood test to see what the pancreatic reserves are, so that we know, do you need insulin versus you don't need insulin. And I'll say, when I saw you, there's a way of us, or especially for me as physician, to grade someone's readiness. So that's like basically a psychological scale. And you were all ready. You were like 5 out of 5.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
you just needed that, the support, and of course the right medical direction. But you were ready. So, that was definitely there the first time I'd met with you. Just share, what's been the impact on your emotional, mental well-being, and how does the future look now?
So I took 8 months off to work on my health. So I gotta say that. I gotta bring that up. So that makes it easy when you have 8 months and you're motivated by losing your feet. When I came back to work, everyone noticed how much weight I lost. Everyone noticed how much easier I am. I wouldn't say I was abrasive, but I'm a superintendent. I got to push things along. My overall outlook on things now is much better. I'm going to be a grandfather in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would have heard, I found out about 4 months ago, and I don't think I'd be as excited if I was still 260 pounds with a foot infection, or if I'm 280 pounds with only one foot, because that's probably what it would
Mm-hmm.
be like. And I'd probably be going up to 300, getting ready to cut off the other if I would have kept ignoring this. The self-love is real. And
So true.
you'll start to really look at yourself, and you'll look at your body as a temple myself, and the future just looks uh, better, because I feel if I can just keep this lifestyle, I think I can live a much longer and healthier life. And like I said, it just looks, I'm feeling stronger.
It's basically like a unified thing. You have to integrate everything. So your mindset, your perspective, your motivation, your inspiration, the lifestyle interventions, and the right medical expertise. So share, just a couple of lines on how would you encourage our future generation, our younger adults who are dealing with type 2 diabetes, so that they could take those steps sooner rather than waiting on for a complication.
The constant glucose monitor to keep track of your blood sugar, and use it. Look at it before you eat something. You know, hey, if my blood sugar is 150, 180, 200, then eat something a little bit healthier, kind of skip. So the constant glucose is one of them. But use the phone and educate yourself. Look up some videos from you. I mean, that you put out, and just educate yourself on what sugar does to the body, the damages it does. Some of the best advice I had from that one doctor and the diabetic advocate was to see an endocrinologist. I just went straight to you, and I'm glad I did. And the recipes and everything that you gave me has really turned me around.
Thank you so much. And I wish you
Too.
like the best of the best health now.
Well, I feel great, and I really owe a lot to you, Dr. Makhija. You know, I mean, so you're a big equation and all that. I didn't do this on my own. I was motivated by fear, but you were a big help in guiding me. That's why I wholeheartedly recommend seeing an endocrinologist, seeing a specialist with diabetes, especially if you're having trouble managing it. And if you want to get real, and you should get real serious about it. See an endocrinologist and yeah, get some help. That's what I did, and it's worked wonders for me.